I am Dr. Joel Dayton. I am a chiropractor here in Orlando. My wife and I have been practicing here for nearly actually it's 8 years this upcoming month. So we love being able to educate people, and we love helping people to be free. And we love helping share the truth with you so that you can have that freedom. And what we're going to be talking about tonight is how to help your friends and family stay free of seasonal allergies and boost your immune system so that you can stay healthy and strong. So this is going to be our overview tonight. We're going to help you understand, first of all, differentiate between infections and allergies so that you know when those symptoms come on. We're going to talk about what actually causes seasonal allergies. We're going to talk about practical ways to take down your exposure. And then we are going to go through physical modalities to help heal. Okay. So when this happened, it was kind of funny when COVID was happening, people were like, do I have COVID? Do I have allergies? What do I have? A lot of people have questions about what makes a clear cut definition of when you're actually experiencing allergies versus when you're having a infection, be it bacterial or viral. So here are a couple of signs that you're having allergies rather than an infection. You're generally, when you have a runny nose, it's going to be clear and watery. It's not going to be more mucousy and snotty. There is typically more sneezing involved when you have allergies versus an infection. It's going to be more cough, although you can have cough with allergies too. When you do have a cough with allergies, it's going to be not as painful. It's going to be annoying, but not as painful as if you're sick. And then you're also going to have more mucus when you have an infection rather than allergies. Allergies are a typical sign of allergies is having the eyes are dry and itchy. Here is a very, very important one. You're not going to have a fever when you have allergies. So if you have a fever, that is a good tip-off sign that you have an infection. Okay. And then allergies tend to make us worn down, but we don't generally get body aches when we have allergies. So this is another great way for us to know the difference between the two. Okay. So I wanted to start out with that just to make sure that there's clarity. If you're wondering, is my family dealing with allergies? Are they dealing more with a viral or bacterial infection? This is a great way to be able to differentiate the two. And it helps us differentiate while we're going to be, when we're going to be talking about different ways to help take care of these allergies that you're dealing with. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about mucus production, because mucus production is going to happen both while you have allergies or while you have a infection. And then I wanted to talk about why we have this happen. So within our bodies, we have several areas that are covered in mucus. It's called a mucous membrane. And as you can see on this picture on the right, there are if you look at all these, your nasal cavity, your mouth, your lungs, your stomach, your intestinal system, these are all covered in mucus, a mucus lining. Their main purpose is to, well, it has several main purposes, but it is trying to keep these areas, basically it's protecting them. So if you look at the mouth and the nose, it's protecting them from drying out because they're constantly exposed to air. If you look at the lungs, again, it's trying to keep them from not drying out and being able to keep them healthy. If you look at the stomach, if you look at the intestines, it acts as a barrier. In the stomach, it's acting as a barrier against your acid that is in your stomach. So it's trying to help make sure that you don't eat away at the inner lining of your stomach. But another thing that mucus helps do is decrease inflammation. It can engulf things that are inflammatory to us and allow us to expel them. And so that's one of the main purposes of mucus, is to help decrease that inflammatory process. I want to talk a little bit about this because, again, when we're differentiating between infection and allergies, here is a kind of a good guide that you can think about, or you could even take a picture if you want of this. But if you have clear snot or mucus, then it's going to be more caused by allergies. It's going to be, or it could be the beginning of an infection. If it's more white, that's an early sign that you're getting some type of infection. You're starting to fight one. Those white blood cells are actually starting to clot and actually attack something that is making you ill. As it changes color, yellow means that, yes, you are starting to get an infection. As it turns to green, you are in the throes of the infection and trying to get over it. So if it stays green for a while, you know that you're not over that infection and that you're still trying to work through that. Red and black, obviously red is more blood. If everyone's had a bloody nose, and that's not a new color. Black is actually, it can be either something that you've inhaled that is a pollutant, things outside, or it can be from fungal infection. So if you ever do have black, that is a really important thing to look at immediately to be able to change, because you'll need to get immediate care, medical care, to make sure that you can get that taken care of, because that's very dangerous. But I wanted to go through these to make sure that hey, this is what normal mucus should look like. And if I'm dealing with these different types of colored mucus, then I'm dealing with, maybe an infection. Okay. So knowing that, now let's look at the cause of our seasonal allergies. So when we have this beautiful time of year, things get pushed out into the air as we walk around. Things start to blossom and plants start to produce pollen. And when we inhale these, it can be pollens, it can be molds. But when we inhale these, our body actually perceives it as an irritant. It says, oh, this is something harmful to it. And it starts to mount an immune response. And this immune response, that usually our body will not use this immune response unless it comes in contact with a bacteria or a virus or something that's dangerous to it. A pollen is not dangerous to it, but the body perceives it as a danger, and therefore it mounts this attack, it mounts this response. And what happens is there's something called mast cells. And these mast cells, when this pollen enters your system, the mast cells go find that pollen. They say, oh, you know what? This looks like a bacteria. This looks like something that's potentially dangerous to our system. And when that mast cell binds to it, they cause what's called histamine to be released. And histamine, people are familiar with antihistamines, but histamines are what creates an immune response that creates inflammation in our body. And that inflammation, oftentimes you'll get the puffy eyes, you'll get the sore throat, you'll get swelling, and that is a histamine reaction. So lots of people will try and fix this with taking an antihistamine. In extreme situations where someone has a nut allergy or a bee allergy or something like that, an antihistamine is a very logical thing to use in order to decrease shutting off of the throat and that really extreme reaction that can be caused. But unfortunately, a lot of people will just go heavy on things like Claritin and other antihistamines. And when they do this, unfortunately, there's a link with long-term use of antihistamine and these things: sleepiness, rashes, behavioral problems in children, convulsions, and early dementia. So It's not recommended. This is not a great thing to use over a long period of time. Again, if you have a bee sting or allergy with a nut allergy or something like that, you obviously want to take this. But if you can avoid it, and if you don't need to take it, that would be preferable. Now, how can we actually avoid it? So there is something inside of you called a regulatory T cell. This is part of your immune system, and they're also called Treg, T regulatory or regulatory T cells. Treg cells, they help to tell the body or direct the body on how they should respond within the immune system. And what happens is Treg cells will decrease histamine release naturally. It'll say, no, we don't need to use that. Hey, slow down. We don't need to respond to that. Even if your body starts to make a response to a pollen or something like that, Treg cells slow it down. They say, hey, stop that. We don't need to get ahead of ourselves. And as you can see, this is what is shown in this picture. The Treg cell holds the stop sign to say, slow it down. We don't want to make too big of a deal out of this. So how do we increase our Treg cells? So here's a really cool thing that has been shown is that probiotics and vitamin D can help increase the production of Treg cells. And by increasing Treg cells, those Treg cells are going to, like I said, decrease the histamine release that your body might do when it comes in contact with one of these pollens or harmless molds. So a probiotic that I use and love is this PB Restore. It is an incredible product. I've been using it for just about a year now, and it not only has probiotics or these are, as you know, healthy bacteria. It not only has healthy bacteria for your gut, but it also has healthy bacteria for your lungs, for your mouth, for your urogenital tract. So this is going to be helping throughout your whole system to regulate how your Treg cells are produced, and also it's going to help make sure that the Treg cells can do their job and keep that immune system healthy, and that immune response in check. Another thing that I recommend is vitamin D, D3. I recommend using it you can get it in a spray or a dropper form. This is just an example of one. We like something like Garden of Life. I recommend doing 10,000 units. It's international units I use a day. If you are dealing with any type of symptoms of allergies, seasonal allergies, you can up it to 10,000 IUs, and that's going to be very fine for you. I would recommend that you get it in a liposomal form, meaning a fat-based form. That's going to make sure that you digest it a lot quicker. Now, I also take vitamin D every single day, just as part of my natural diet. And also I take it in doTERRA has a vitamin D in a couple of their supplements that I take. Those are more, it's closer to like 600-700 IUs. So obviously that's just a baseline for me. But if I'm dealing with symptoms like this, upping it to 10,000 IUs is really, really helpful. So those are two things to help increase your Treg cells. Okay. Another thing that you can do to help decrease the effects of allergies, of seasonal allergies, is to make sure that you're being careful with your diet. If you eat inflammatory foods, what happens is your body will be naturally in a more inflammatory state, and your body will become more responsive to allergens, to pollens, because it already is in this heightened state of thinking, oh, everything's dangerous, everything is inflammatory. And so unfortunately, if you aren't careful with how you eat, you're going to end up having a greater effect on stirring up your seasonal allergies. So what I recommend is make sure you pay attention to how you eat, and pay attention to the feelings that you have when you eat. So when I'm talking about the feelings, if you get bloated, if you feel indigestion, if you feel, well, I'll tell you, when I eat bread or sugar, I get very, very all over the place. I can't focus, right? And so what I recommend is that you pay attention to how you feel. And if you feel those types of feelings, that's actually a sign to you that your body isn't doing very well with those foods. It's going to create an inflammatory response, and that's going to make you more prone to have a more severe case of seasonal allergies if you're prone to seasonal allergies. I recommend, if you don't know where to start, if you do have allergies and you're trying to limit them, I recommend that you limit your gluten and your sugars. Those are two key things that can right away cut down on the inflammation that's in your body. Okay. Here's another practical piece of advice. If you deal with allergies, make sure that you're keeping your indoor air quality high. So a hint is your shoes. You're walking in grasses, you're walking in, there are going to be different types of wildflowers and things like that outside. Make sure you leave your shoes in the garage or outside on the deck, whatever you want to do. But that's just going to limit how much pollen is brought in with you. You might need to wash your clothes more often if you're dealing with allergies. Also, if you've been out and about, like for instance, we were having a little picnic after work yesterday at a park. Making sure you take a shower is very, very helpful, because you're going to get all those pollens and such that were swirling around the air. You're going to get them out of your hair, literally out of your hair, and they're not going to be messing with your throat and your nose. Okay. Another thing, this is something that we have in our home. Use an air purifier. It's called a Coway, Coway, Coway. It's a really great air filter, and it can cover quite a large space. It really helps to clean up the air quickly. And if you have any type of allergic issues, even if you don't, it can be very helpful for indoor air quality. So that's something that we use on a daily basis. Another thing you'll want to do is make sure your sinuses are clear. This is where, obviously, when we're breathing, this is our first place that those pollens are going to go in. So I have a couple of suggestions. If you're familiar with a neti pot, well, if you're not familiar with the neti pot, let me explain it. Literally, it looks like a little kettle with a long spout. And basically, you get a little bit of warm water and you put salt in this. Obviously, you want to make sure the salt is not crystallized. Make sure that, it's all mixed up. But warm water, and then you're going to pour it into one nostril and then allow it to come out the other nostril. What this does is, obviously, it's a nasal rinse. So you can also use saline nasal sprays. They have them that you can get at something like a pharmacy. It can be very helpful in cleaning up your airways. I would also recommend that if you are going to use a Kleenex, I'm not saying don't do it. I definitely think it's a good idea. But if you perpetually blow your nose, you can do damage to the inside of your nasal cavity, and that will cause bleeding and cracking. And then you're also getting rid of the mucus that's actually trying to be a protective barrier against the pollens. It's supposed to try and catch the pollens. And once it catches the pollens, it's trying to rid your body of them. So if you get rid of it completely, unfortunately, you're going to get yourself more pollen in your nasal cavity now. So I would prefer that you try and use something like a neti pot, which is going to help clear the pollen out, but you'll still maintain a wetness within the nose. Okay. Now, this is a fun thing. How many of you are familiar with, I'm going to kind of make this more of a conversational part. How many of you are familiar with your lymphatic system? Any of you know the lymphatic system, what it is? I'm going to kind of explain what the lymphatic system is, and then explain how you can use the lymphatic system, how we can help drain the lymphatic system so that you can actually keep yourself not only healthy from if you're dealing with allergies, but also if you're dealing with any type of other sickness. Okay. So the lymphatic system, within your body, you have blood vessels that run throughout the whole body, right? And as your heart pumps, it's going to pump blood. It's going to blood outside of those little capillaries, right? And when it pumps outside of those little capillaries, it's going to go to the cells. It's going to take nutrients to the cells. And when those nutrients are all used up, then it's going to try and get back into the bloodstream. It's going to go into these little lymph nodes. Like you have lymph nodes, everyone's felt lymph nodes under your neck, right? Or in your armpits. It's going to try and get back in those lymph nodes, and then the lymph nodes are going to help shuttle it back into your blood vessels, okay, your larger blood vessels. So why do we get huge lymph nodes when we have allergies or when we're sick? Well, what happens is your body is trying to use up a lot. It requires a lot more of the nutrients that is in your plasma, right? That's getting pushed out into your lymph. And as a result, it's getting stuck and built up within your lymph nodes, and it has a harder time going back into your bloodstream. So tonight, I'm going to actually teach you a practical way of being able to help get the lymph back into the lymph, from the lymph nodes into the bloodstream. Okay. And to do this, I'm going to ask you, if you have your little envelope that we sent you, grab that, because we've got breathe oil inside of that. Okay. I'm not going to have you open it up yet, but you should have like a little foil like this, or maybe some of you already have breathe oil like this in a little bottle. Either way, you can use that. But I'm not going to have you open it up yet. What we're going to do, I'm going to explain a couple things of how we're going to do this, and then I'll have you do it with me, and we'll have a nice fun experience being able to use some oils on top of us. Okay. So now you can use breathe oil. You can also use lemon oil, right? Now, the thing with breathe oil is it has lemon oil in it. It has peppermint, it has lemon. It also has tea tree or melaleuca, if you're familiar with those. So it's got several great oils that can help with this lymphatic drainage. Okay. So let me teach you a little bit about the lymph system. So if you can see this picture here, I'm going to move this so we can see it a little bit better. There we go. So if you can see this picture here, the lymph system, you have lymph nodes right here in your face. You have lymph nodes here. You have lymph nodes obviously underneath your chin. You have some above your chin, and then you have a lot going down your neck. Okay. And then you have your main, it's called your supraclavicular lymph nodes. They're right here. It's right here. If you know where your clavicle is, everyone find their clavicle. So it's called supraclavicular. So it means above the clavicle, and it's right here above the clavicle. Let's see. Malu, do you have a question? I thought like Malu had a question, but maybe not. Okay.
Sorry, Joe. I just couldn't see your.
Oh, can you?
You were kind of black, so now you're back. At least for me. So
okay, perfect. Okay, awesome, great. So here's your supraclavicular lymph nodes. So what we're going to do before we start our lymphatic drainage, we're actually going to stimulate these supraclavicular lymph nodes. So you can do it either this way, or you can cross your hands. I actually prefer to cross my hands. It looks like I'm choking myself. I'm not, but you're going to cross your hands. And I like to massage in a circular motion, just like this. And we're just going to do this for just about 20 seconds. Okay. So you're going to just circular motion here. Oh, now This one you can do a little bit like just like a soft massage. When we get to your lymph nodes, we're actually going to do super, super light massage, right? It's going to be, you're going to be barely touching your skin. And the reason for that is lymph nodes, excuse me, the lymph vessels are very, very small. If you push them too hard, you actually can't drain them. You actually close them. So you actually have to do a very, very light massage. This one where we're stimulating these main lymph nodes, that's okay to do hard. Okay, now we're going to come here. You're going to come on the side of your face and you're going to kind of make a V like this. And we're going to come like this again in a circular motion. We're just going to go for about 15, 20 seconds, just like that. And you can go, like I said, a little bit harder on this one. All right, this is just activating those larger lymph areas that we're going to be trying to rid all of the lymph out of. Okay, so we're good there. Now, get your oil. We're going to take our oil and you can put, I'm going to open mine up here. Just take a little bit. You don't need very much. Just take a little bit, like even a drop or two. I'm just going to put a little bit on my fingers. And what we're going to do, we're going to start. Now, we're going to start and you're going to put it right here on the side of your neck. And you're going to go very, very gently. And you're going to come down this way. We're trying to drain the lymph towards that supraclavicular lymph node, okay? So we're going to come like this. Very, very gently, okay? And we're going to go on the other side of our neck also. Oops. Sorry, I'm holding the oil in one hand, so I can't. And it also just feels nice to just kind of give yourself.
Oh, is it okay to do it together?
Yes, you can do both sides together. It's not a problem. Yep. So that's the first one. Now, the next one you can see in this picture, it's underneath our jawline. And so we want to start, by the way, when you do this, you want to start going low and we're going to move up high. And the reason for that is we're trying to clear everything out downward. If we start at the top, then it's going to get clogged as we move down. Does that make sense? So we have to move out everything from below first. So the next step, again, you can take some of your oil and you're just going to put it right here at the base of your chin, right underneath your jawbone right there, okay? And you're going to softly move here. And you see how it kind of makes a 7 shape? Do you see that? How it makes that 7 shape underneath the jaw in this picture? You see how it makes a 7? It goes up and then goes over and then down. So that's kind of the motion that we're going to do, just like that, okay? And I'm going to do it on the other side here too. There we go. Again, this should be very soft, right? If you push too hard, it will close those lymph vessels and you're not going to be able to move it where it needs to move. So very, very gentle, okay? Next step, we're going to go above the jawline right here, okay? And I'm actually going to pull out my breathe oil here. And I have it just in a roll-on. If any of you have that, you can use that too. But we're going to do the same type of motion, coming just here and then moving down, okay? Now, on this next one, we're going to go right here along my mustache line, right? We're going to come. Now, make sure, don't come too close to the eyes, please, okay? So we're going to come here, then we're going to come here, and then we're going to come above the eyes. Please don't get too close to the eyes with this oil. It will not feel good. We're all going to be crying, and I don't want that. I don't want us to have any type of issues there. We're going to come here. It is making my eyes tingle a little bit right now. Now,
So when we go across the mustache, do we come all the way to the side and come down, or just straight down like a bar handle mustache?
so when I'm coming up here,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're coming down like this.
Okay, down past the cheek.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
So you're kind of going right in front of the ear. Do you see those right in front of the ear?
Right, okay.
Yep, that's kind of what we're shooting for. So we have to come up a little bit and then down. Okay, we're gonna come right here by the nose, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. Be careful. Don't get it too close to your eyes, please. Again. Now, if this is something that you find, ooh, it does really make me cry a lot, right? You don't have, you could do lemon oil, and that's not going to make you, cry at all. It's the peppermint that makes you, it has that kind of mentholy effect here. Okay. And then we're going to come above the eyebrows right here. Okay. Same thing. And down like this. Now, I forgot to mention, if you get puffy eyes in the morning, if you wake up with puffy eyes, this is a nice thing that you can do, not above the eyes. You can do it above the eyes, but this one that we just did underneath the eyes, that's one that can really help get the lymph, because that's what's happening. You're getting lymph that's just stagnant underneath your eyes, and you can use that to
What
help.
is it when, like, Joel, Stephen has these pockets right here.
Uh-huh.
So would that
Yes.
drain that?
Yes, if he gets it in the morning, yep, then
Yeah.
he can use this to help get that out.
Only in the morning? Because
If
from
it's-
flying, he gets it a lot.
Oh, he could get in. Yeah, he could get it from like allergens and things like that from,
Okay.
moving around that way too. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so after we finish here, then what we're going to do, we're going to come back one more time. So we've gotten everything down here. We're going to come back down to our neck here, okay? And we're going to go gently down here and move all of that down. How's everyone feel?
Tingly.
Relaxed? Does that feel good?
Yes.
Tingly.
Tingly, I know. It feels tingly for me too.
It felt the best right here.
Didn't that
I
feel
got-
great?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
feels.
It clears everything out. Oh man, it's so nice. And especially, that's your nasal cavities right there. So if you are dealing with allergens, this is probably going to feel the best of any of the places that you do. Now it's super important, Corey, like that you do the rest of them, because if you just do this one and you are having allergies, if you don't clear out this, it's going to stay congested because it won't have anywhere to move. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yep. So
Link the video tutorial.
yeah. So if you want to take a picture of that, you can take a picture of that. I made a nice little tiny URL that you can type in, but that's a YouTube link. I didn't do this one. This is another person that did this one. And that's a nice little a video that you can watch and you can go over again what we just went through. They won't suggest using the oils, but yeah, otherwise it's very similar to what we just did.
Great, thanks.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So we just used this breathe oil. This is one of my favorites. This is one that we will use not just with allergies, but we'll use when anyone in our family is dealing with any type of cold or cough or, congestion in the throat or lungs. So it comes in, you can get it in a roll-on like this, or you can get it in they have it in the 15 ml bottle either. This is a great one that if you want to just diffuse in your house, you can just put it right in and it just helps clear out the air so nicely. Corey, you were telling me about, oh no, you weren't telling me about this one specifically. You were telling me about Melaleuca or tea tree that you're using the other day, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
For my hands that were dry and itchy.
Yep. So, and this one has that tea tree in it, so it's going to help also. So
you can diffuse this at night also.
Sorry, say it again.
This diffused at night also.
Yep, absolutely. You could diffuse this at night, helps clear up everything and keep the air nice and clear and keep your airways nice and open. Another thing that we like to use is this called Tri-Ease. Tri-Ease is a blend of 3 oils. It's peppermint, lavender, and lemon. And those 3 oil blends, this comes in a capsule, and that three oil blend is really helpful in decreasing any type of allergy symptoms. So that is a super nice one to have on hand. I will tell you, we don't use this all the time, but we always have it on hand because every once in a while you will have some allergic reaction pop up and we're like, nope, let's go get some Tri-Ease. And let me show you why it's so effective. This is so cool. So I have 3 different research articles showing us about lavender, peppermint, and lemon oil and why they actually help. So this was research taken out of, let's see, the Evidence-Based Complementary and Alternative Medicine journal, right? And this is a direct quote from this article. It said, our results suggest that LEO in this article was talking about lavender essential oil has anti-edematogenic, I can't read that very well. It means taking down edema, right? You're taking down swelling, right? And possesses an anti-inflammatory activity, both in the topical treatment and orally. So basically what they're saying, if you use lavender oil topically, right? Like we just did in breathe oil, right? Or if you use it internally, like you can in the Tri-Ease, it's going to have this anti-inflammatory effect, which is really, really cool, right? How about peppermint? This is a really great study that showed, again, direct quote, that peppermint exhibited antispasmodic activity in rat trachea. So it caused the trachea to just completely relax. And they actually used things that would induce coughing within the rat. And then they would use peppermint oil, and it completely caused the trachea to relax. It said this relaxant effect, let's see, and that this relaxant effect may be correlated with its popular use in respiratory diseases. So they were saying this is probably why is, it causes this trachea to relax. So kind of cool. Lemon, this was from another article. Direct quote, it says, our results suggest that as the main active component of, in this case, it was lemon essential oil in this article. It says the D-limonene not only played the major role in anti-inflammatory activities, but an increase in the activity is expected in combination with other active components of lemon essential oil. So basically, again, it has this anti-inflammatory effect when taken internally because of D-limonene, which is the main component of lemon essential oil. Right. So that's kind of fun. The science is always fun.
Could you take hot water in the morning and just make that a tea?
Yes.
Lemon,
yep.
Lavender, and pepper.
Yep. You could do that.
Help internal.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, here's the deal. You won't want to make your tea too hot. And the reason why is when you heat up oils too much, it will cause them to denature. Right. So you don't want to make the tea too hot if you are going to do that. Right? You want it to be more on a mild, warm temperature. Okay. And you wouldn't want to boil it. You'd want to add it later. Does that make sense? Because the steam and the heat is actually going to cause the chemical nature of that to change, and it's not going to be able to help you the way you want anymore. Cool. Good question. Thanks, Corey. All right, so these are the 4 things that we talked about to make sure that you can keep yourself feeling healthy and happy and allergy free. Obviously, the Tri-Ease and the Breathe, again, use the Breathe topically and then use it aromatically. And then make sure that you use it with these types of lymphatic drainage things that we taught you tonight, because this can really, really make a huge difference in making sure that those stay clear and that you don't feel all congested and that you actually heal quicker because you're moving things out of the way. Okay. If you use that probiotic, it's going to help with that T regulatory cells that we talked about. And that is going to decrease histamine production, which is great. That's what you want to do. You want to level that down. I would say you want to right size it, really, because it's not going to cut out histamine production. It's going to say, hey, you know what? Let's just pump the brakes a little bit. We don't need to react to this pollen. This is not the foe here, okay? And by having a healthy gut bacteria, that will help increase that Treg production, okay? And the last thing is that D3. Using vitamin D3, I would suggest it in a liposomal form, so you can get that in like a dropper form. A lot of times you can get that from like a health food store or something like that. But this is going to be something that's helpful. 10,000 units is suggested. Okay. If you're dealing with symptoms. Okay. That is all we have for tonight. I want to remind you that next month we've got our healthy hormone class. Crystal is going to be teaching that class, Dr. Nix. It's going to be a fantastic class. We're really, really excited to be able to help you understand how you can help regulate your hormones naturally and get you back on track and feeling great.